Grisaiaの歌詞。
Bonjour Watcher, this is Johnny Banger 45 and welcome back to the Fruit of Grisaia. Yes, in the last episode, a very long day already, my friend. We played very long.
続きからよ。
Okay, end this as fast as possible. That was figure that popped up all the way through was particularly well made. This way his brain burst all over the place was quite realistic, don't you think? Oh, and the master of the hall. I saw the decapitation coming, but I was expecting his severe body head come to fly in our direction. Guess it's worth giving that sort of place to try and offer every once in a while, eh? Yumiko? What's wrong? You haven't been saying much, and that pale face of yours is getting whiter. Did you catch a cold or something?
怖かったからに決まってるでしょ
You did seem even more frightening than I expected.
あんなの信じられないわ怖すぎる
Yumiko only shrieked and screamed like a normal girl for first 5 minutes or so. After that, the terror must have overloaded her brain. No matter what came after, she just screamed violently at my side, her face frozen and a speechless mask. You really are totally helpless against that sort of stuff, my bad.
知ってて連れて行ったくせにそういうド S なところユージにはあるわよね
Can't deny that.
夜だってやめてって言ってるのにそんなこと
You say something.
なんでもないほら今度は怖いのじゃなくてもっと面白そうなのに行きましょうね
Her pale face abruptly blooming red. Yumiko pulls me firmly along by the hand in a clear attack, changing the subject.
さすがにちょっと疲れたわね
Yeah, same here. To finish visiting nearly all the attraction park has to offer, Yumiko glows with obvious satisfaction, but there's a hint of fatigue in her eyes as well. Of course, considering the long and stormy day we had just had, I suppose it's only natural for her to be a little worn out. Why don't you finish up by riding the Ferris wheel, or, Yumiko? As I suggested, we concluded our visit with that venerable amusement park stepper. I noticed that Yumiko is looking off in a completely different direction. Is there someone behind me? No. That doesn't seem like it. She's been shooting glass over at one fixed point in particular. Carefully not to let Yumiko notice, I followed the light of her gaze. Wait, does Yumiko seriously wants to... What I find that surprised me is an attraction somewhat out of sync with Yumiko's image. Of course, an amusement park isn't the sort of place you ever expect to find Yumiko to begin with, but even in that context, this flight stands out as an S-rank mismatch. Hey Yumiko.
何ユージ
Do you want to ride that thing? I pointed out the direction Yumiko was just looking and gingerly asked the obvious question. Instantly, in a reply of the previous conversation, her pale face lights up with a violent blush.
何言ってるのよなんで私があんな小さい女の子が乗るようなものに
Well, you've been running around like a little girl the whole time we've been here, haven't you?
バカにした今はっきりと私をバカにしたわね
In that case, you want to just skip it and leave? Guess that's decided then. You are so easy to understand. Getting out of the bench, I take Yumiko by hand and pull her to her feet. Let's make that the grand finale then.
だからユージ
Oh! Oh, the horse! Before long, the two of us has climbed on to the right of Yumiko had her eye on. Sadly, her parents never bring her here. That's a sad one. Same goes to Yuji. The park's shutting down for a night very soon. There aren't any other visitors to be seen.
ちょっとやだ恥ずかしいわよ
But nonethelessly, the girls look around the area nervously, self-conscious despite the complete lack of spectators. What's the problem? Nobody's around. Might as well throw off your pride to the wind and regress to childhood.
いきなり言われてはいそうですかって戻れないでしょもう
Ignoring Yumiko's protest, the merry-go-round creased to lie and began to spin. See? A vast array of cheap-looking electric decoration and lights began to blink cheerily on and off, and an upbeat tune that feels vaguely familiar plays from the speakers overhead.
こんな子供騙しなものに。
Halfway through the sentence, Yumiko falters. The carousel horse slowly rises and falls underneath us. The scene before our eyes transforms again and again. A brilliant green grandly fades into the sky of impossible indigo blue, forming an artificial stage in the midst of the darkness. White lights above merge into one continuous line, illuminating the spectacle. As the soothing, strangely nostalgic sounds and lights wash over us, the tone of Yumiko's voice gradually begins to change.
子供騙しのものに。
What's wrong? I can hear the girl faintly breathe in. And then, in a voice just barely audible over the garnished music, she continues.
すごく乗りたかった。
Yes, you always wanted, right one.
こうやって大好きな人とね。
Is that a confession? Is that a confession? Every time we move up and down the metal fixture, spotting our horse creak audibly. With every clutchy repetition, Yumiko's body shakes a little in my arms. And it's not just because the horse is worn out.
母の実家にいた頃はね、最初とても不思議だったのよ。
Yumiko shared her memories of those early days with me before. How at first she grew up assuming herself to be a normal child. How she slowly came to realize she was different. The beginning of her isolation.
休みの日になると、海の方にある遊園地や浜辺にお父さんやお母さんと一緒にみんな出かけていく。自分だけ一人で家の庭で土の上に絵を描いている。お母さんは病院にいる。お父さんは遠いところにいる。おじいちゃんもおばあちゃんも私がまるでいないかのように振る舞う。それでやっと気づいたの。
The quivering of her body grows noticeably stronger against my hands.
私は生まれてきてはいけなかったんだって。いてはいけない子だったんだって。誰とも一緒にいっちゃいけないんだって。
Yumiko Sato shudders to a halt. Her shoulders heave with a silent sobs. The girl's been making an effort not to cry in front of me. Even when she was crushed by her own failure, she did her absolute best not to break down. Even now she keeps her back turned, refusing to let me see the tears. How many times have Yumiko cried like this, her face hidden from the world? Abandoned, rejected, betrayed, hacking at her hair with a box cutter hiding in her room, and at all times it hurts most. The girl's being on her own.
だからこうやってユウジと一緒に遊んだことが今日は本当に嬉しかったの。嬉しかったの。本当に嬉しかったの。
Artificially, stars rotate before our eyes. The light merges together into one long multicolored strip. Then center and then up, down, down, left and right. Red and white and yellow blue extend all around us, spinning in time to the cheerful, simple music.
本当は作戦なんて嘘だったんでしょ。私のためを思ってここに連れてきてくれたんでしょ。
I never tell lies. Don't you know that by now?
ユウジは優しいもの。私にいっぱいたくさん優しく嘘をついてきたもの。
Ridiculous slander.
本当は辛いのに何でもないってずっと言い続けて、私が気にするからってずっと隠して。ユウジにもっとわがままを言ってほしかった。でも言わせてあげられなかったのが本当に悲しかった。
Yumiko hesitates, choosing her next words carefully. I know what coming next. It's nothing I want to hear. A phrase we've tried to make taboo. It must be has been on the tip of her tongue so many times these last few months. The miserable apologies that finally spilled out Yumiko's mouth is a quiet, fairy thing, but it's still enough to pierce me to the
あ
core.
なたが抱えている辛さや悲しさをもっと一緒に分かち合いたかった。気遣われるだけじゃなくて気遣いたかった。でも何一つできなくてごめんね。私がごめんね。
Yumiko. Calling her name by name, I stroke her cheeks with one hand. As if her own pain was enough, she wants to take on the darkness inside me. She's trying to load down her slender body with a weight it can't possibly bear. And this from a girl too weak able to support herself. I have something I wanted to say to you as well. I have something I wanted to say to you as well, Yumiko. I draw the arms I wrap around Yumiko closer to me. Raising her body firmly to mine, I speak the word clearly into her ear. I'm really glad you were born. Thank you. I had never had anyone care about me this much. Everything I did before I met you felt hollow. I always end up being alone. With my master gone, I didn't know why I was even bothered to keep on reading. Continuing to work for my country, I tried to find the meaning of the words she left me at the end. They were all I had left. I still haven't unraveled that mystery, but now that I'm with Yumiko, I think I'm beginning to glimpse some small fragment of the answer. At the very least, your birth has meaning for me, so let me say this one more time. Don't apologize. I'm grateful to you. I embraced her even more strongly than before. About to swing careless as a horse, Yumiko's body begins to tremble once again. A warm drop of water spot on the hands I wrapped around her. Then another, pretending not to notice, I gently stroked her hair.
あなたはどうしてそう優しいの？
I'm not kind, just full of myself. I do what I want.
やっぱり優しいわよ。だってそんなこと言われたら私もう何も言い返すことなんてないわ。
Her hand reaches back to grasp the sleeve of my shirt.
本当にあなたは優しくて勝手なんだから。
Sorry, it's my nature. It takes some time for Yumiko trembles to die down. The park outside is already sinking to darkness as I watch the light on the other attraction winks out in one and twos. By the way, there are one other reason I brought you here.
もう一つ
Sounds like she's forgotten. Because I promised.
約束。
As my words joins the memory, Yumiko's voice takes on the note no surprise. You told me you want to visit one of these, remember? I know the timing is a little crazy, but tears welling out in the corner of her eyes, she looks back at me and smiles.
嬉しい。覚えていてくれたのね。
Come on, no way I forgot something like that. The music playing for the tiny, poorly maintained speaker above is repeatedly interrupted by bursts of static. That jelly noise periodically cuts our conversation apart. The cheap dream world creaks and groans around us. It's not exactly the sort of illusion you can just lose yourself in. But none of that really matters. I found a woman who can love a piece of trash like me from the bottom of her heart. That's enough to make this place an impossible paradise. Eventually, the last station go down and our little fantasy will fade away with a sign of more talk. I sit on a horse with her arms and quietly speaking here her name and again, as if to remind her that she's here and this is real. And in response, she whispered Yuji many times. In a forest so dark, it's possible to tell why the trees ends and the skies begins our train brings its way down to civilization. Little by little, the small lights of carriage windows comes into view in the station below, where we transferred only a few hours ago. As much as we might want to deny it, those lights force us to realize that our time in the dream world over. Down there, inescapable reality is waiting us. It's already past 10. They have hours to follow our trail. Once we transfer to the train, they will carry us away from here. We won't be able to turn back. At my side, Yumiko quietly gazed at the back of the seat in front of her. Her eyes are hollow and lifeless like they were before, but from the tightly clenched face resting on the seat by her thigh, I can see that she is still uneasy. I lower my head from her shoulder to cover that small face. After a few gentle strokes, she lets her hands fall open. Then turns it to squeeze mine in return.
どこへ向かうの？
The question tinged with a little anxiety. We'll take a detour for the north, then head east. From there, we'll change to a different private railway and head further north. Yeah, there are some decidedly polluted towns along the coastal railway there where we shouldn't stand out too much. I people among people, still following that basic principle, I decided a slightly more distant destination. However, unless the fundamental dynamics of the situation change, our fugitive lifestyle isn't going to end. From what JB told me, the East Group branch has some delicate circumstances at the moment. If that changes, they might go public with this search. The police will get involved, Ichigai will move in earnest, even the media will start moving against us. At that point, there won't probably be any safe place there for us. We're still too isolated into the struggle against an incompatible strong opponent. Stronger opponent.
逃げるしかない。
Yeah. There's no doubt, Yumiko feels the same apprehension. The tone of her voice is low, resigned. Gazing at her slightly downcast face, finally made up my mind to ask. Actually, Yumiko, I have a question for you. She turns to look at me, staring straight into her eyes. I continue. Do you want to confront your father? You want to confront your father? If you got the will, I might have a way. I've been slowly making preparations ever since we ran away.
私が
Yes. That's right. We can also run away, if that's what you want. If you confront me and lose, we'll be torn apart, but there's a risk either way. Yumiko listened to my words quietly and attentively. But as I continue, her gaze slid from mine and begins to fall downward. By the time I finished speaking, she's standing straight at her feet.
私には選べないわ。
After a brief pause, she answered in a voice bitter with self-derision.
私は何も成長できていないもの。アパートから逃げ出した時だって自分から電話をかけてしまった。
And once again, her voice begins to quiver as she struggles to hold down the tears.
寮から連れ去られた私をユージが助けに来てくれた時、私はユージを信じようって思った。だからあなたから伸ばされた手を握ったわ。でも最後の最後のところであなたを信じることができなかった。そんな私にユージと共に何かできることなんてありえないわ。
I shake my head to deny her words. You're wrong, Yumiko. You have changed. There's no doubt about it. Yes, we tried to make that phone call, but you hung up before he answered, didn't you?
それはそうだけど、でも結果としてその行為のせいであの人たちに見つかることになってしまって。
Hindsight is 2020. I'm talking about what you were thinking, Yumiko.
私
Yeah, I remember the day when Yumiko dismissed me, the day she tried to live my life forever. Refusing to acknowledge her own way, unable to rely on me, she tried to disappear all on her own. That Yumiko would have made a phone call, she would have told her father everything, believing all the while that she was doing me a favor. You pulled yourself back from the edge, you fought down the fear and held on to your own free will. And I'm going to stay with you, no matter what kind of ending we got waiting for us.
ユージ
Yumiko throws herself against my chest. Her body slender light as always, but today I can feel her strength in the body that wasn't there before. Slowly, face buried against my shirt, she gathers her breath. I just sit there letting her respiration warm my skin, enjoying the affectionate movements of her fingers against my back.
答え
And finally,
が出たわ。
Yumiko pulls away and meets my gaze. That's a coincidence. Same here. Simultaneously, our face breaks into a smile. There's no hint of strain or awkwardness. They're probably the most easy and natural smile we had on our face in a long time. And again, in Yumiko's eyes, I see something like determination. Resignation might still be a part of it, but that strange glimpse in her is real. I absolutely believe that now.
一緒に言いましょうか。
Sounds good. Our eyes fixed on each other. We opened our mouths to speak. For a long time, feelings for each other kept us at cross purposes. But now finally we are standing together, facing the same moment, saying the same truth, saying the same future. Oof! Oh!
セーブするわ。
Yeah, finally! The choices has come, my friend, the choices has come. So we have both ending here. So yeah, finally, it's about that time we choose to make a fucking decision. Yeah. So in the next episode, I think I'm going to try do 2, I guess. Do 2 ending. If can. So next episode I will fulfill all of this. No matter what, I guess. So thank you for watching my video. My video are just for fun. Don't take heart, brothers and sisters. Okay. Say the magic word then. Adios e famosa.